Now, when you look at this volume profile shape right here, what do you see? And more importantly, how do you trade the B-shape volume profile? This could be video number 4 in the volume profile series. Now, as we come over, look at the first uppercase B-shaped profile, and this is not the best looking profile to actually use this as an example, but I wanted to not only give you guys textbook examples, but also things that we're going to see in real life trading. We can see right up here, we have a distribution area of the profile, which is the area where the profile sticks out. Then we come into a little valley and then it sticks out once again. So with a B-shaped profile, we have what's called a double distribution. This area up here is the distribution of volume. The area right down here is a second area of distribution. Now, if you look at normal volume profile terms, we will see where the bright blue goes into a darker color blue, that would be value area low. The yellow line would be the point of control. The point of control is a price level that has the most amount of contracts traded at it at that particular session. Then right up here where the bright color blue goes to dark color blue, that is going to be what's called value area high. Now you can see if you're just playing the normal volume profile rotation, which is something I talk about in all of my analysis videos, you can actually see that the value actually overlays both of the distribution areas in the profile. So how do we handle this? Well, first, we want to identify where is the minus development area. Now, the minus development area is essentially going to be the valley in between the two distribution areas. And it's something we talk about all the time on the live streams. And speaking of live streams, if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. But the first time we come into a minus development area, we expect the market is going to either consolidate or reject from that area. So for instance, if we're up above the minus development area, the first time we come into it, we'd expect the market to either consolidate or bounce out. Now I say a majority of the time, not every single time is this going to occur. Now, if we look at the following day, you can see right up here when the market opened during the Asia session, the market comes down. Now there's a couple ways we could trade this. If we know that the minus development area, which signifies an inefficiency in the market loves to repair inefficiencies in the market. One, we can use this area as a potential target area, or two, we can use it for a quick rejection right back down. So let's go ahead and explore both of those ideas real quick. If we look at this, first, we want to identify where the distribution is in this profile. Now, in this example, it so happens the bottom of that area would be value area low. Now, that's not always going to be the case. It just happens to be the case with this example. Now you can see we're already below value area low. So from the time we start getting above value area low, I would want to target the high volume area of the distribution area, then look to take a secondary target right up here towards the minus development area. And you can see the market marched right up there. Now the market doesn't always go exactly like we would like, but then as we come back down, notice the second and third time that we will come into this minus development area, we then expect the market to break. So if you miss the first trading opportunity in this market, then what really is beneficial is once we start breaking back above the minus development area, we can look right up here to the second distribution. And within that distribution, I want to look for where the high volume is of that profile. So for this example, I'm just going to draw another white line up in that area. Now, if we go and we look, we can see that the first attempt, well, if you went long right here, well, we come right back down. Okay, ends up being a losing trade. Like I said, not every trade in trading will be a winner. If you want to be a good trader, you must learn how to lose. But then look at the second attempt. We come back through that area, and what does the market do? Runs right back up towards that distribution area that we are able to identify with the B-shaped profile. Now, before we come over and take a look at this next B-shaped profile in a way that we could use the profile shape to give us an edge in the market, I want you guys to know right now, amazing deals out there. Apex Trader Funding, 80% off all evaluation accounts. My Funded Futures, 50% off first-time users. Tradify, 35% off all accounts. Use promo code Mike. If you guys want to trade with a prop firm with the best payout policy out there, Take Profit Trader, right now, 40% off all the evaluation accounts. Best yet, no activation fee. Take advantage of these offers. Use the link in the description box down below. All right, so now that we're looking at this secondary B-shaped profile, what do we see? We can see the kind of minus development area now. Preferably, I'd like to see the minus development area sunken in a little bit more. But again, in the market, it's not always going to be textbook. You can see right up here, we have the first distribution area. Right down here, we have the second distribution area. Now, if we go ahead and we scroll forward, I want you guys to pay close attention. Where's the edge of this distribution area? And I would really draw the line a little bit lower than value area low, where it really tapers off. We can see kind of in the middle of these candle wicks right here between the candle wick and the candle body. When we come over and we look at the next day, notice what happens. Once we get below this area, do we ever get back above that distribution area? The simple answer is no. So how is this beneficial for us? Because in the prior example, I showed where we could play the rotation up towards targeting the high volume node, the minus development area, and then once we get past the minus development area, targeting the next area on the distribution. Well, we can use it as such. If we know we have two different distribution areas of the profile from the prior day, well, guess what? If we're trading below that lower distribution area, then the path of the least resistance is lower, and we want to look for sell side trades. Now you might say, Mike, but we got right above it here. Yes, if you went to take the trade here, well, guess what? You would have been stopped out. You had a losing trade. But being able to recognize once you had that losing trade and the fact that we're spending quite a bit of time below that area, then it's time to go ahead and say, all right, let me go ahead and try to play this for the downside. Now, if you're able to identify a B-shaped profile as it's being formed, you can also trade this on an intraday basis. However, notice what happens here right around 12:30. We once again go back up and try to challenge that distribution area of the profile. And if we look, could we have maybe got a target one out of this in that example? If we draw a horizontal line right across it, does it come right up here to the middle of this distribution area of the profile? I would say yes, you're within a couple of ticks. And if you were in this trade long and you saw that it just barely missed your target, if you're targeting the exact point of control and you did not move your stop loss to at least break even or start aggressively trailing it on the way up, shame on you. All right, so let's look at another example real quick. And this one's going to be a little bit different because you can see we kind of have a tail on the bottom of this profile, but we do have two well-defined distribution areas of the profile. The first one right here, the second one is up here a little bit higher. And look at the minus development area within this profile. I really like how this is shaping up. So I'm going to simply draw a horizontal line right through the minus development area. And let's just see how the market plays out. Well, one, we can see once we start breaking below the minus development area, where are we looking to target? We can target either this distribution area or right down here, this secondary peak within this volume profile distribution. And then we really want to look at the lower end. Where does this distribution area taper off? And I would actually venture to say all the way down here. So now we have two levels, and let's just see how the market reacts. One, look what happened right over here. You can see the market came down, not quite making it down to this distribution area here. But what do? We came right back up towards the minus development area and we started to turn back down. Now, if you were already thinking sell side the market, guess what? Where would the logical targets be placed? Well, one, we could look to retarget these lows, but two, more importantly, we could target the taper off of this secondary distribution within the B-shaped profile. Then you can see we really started breaking below that lower part of the distribution, but wait, look, we want to continue to map that out until the trading session is over. What do? We start trying to get back above it, and depending on where your stop loss is, we not only make it back to the minus development area of that profile, but then we could also use the high volume node right up here, and then the other edge of that distribution area for potential targets. So you can use the double distribution for both bullish and bearish plays in the markets. Now, if you'd like to learn how to trade the D-shaped profile and the characteristics of what to expect once you see a D-shaped profile, make sure to watch this next video right here.